Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Introduction to Macroeconomics at Ozarka College. Today what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of feedback on the chapters 3 and 4 activities that I finished grading yesterday, and then I'm going to tell you what we've got coming up due for chapters 5 and 6 early next week. Okay? Alright, so the first thing is, like I said, I did finish grading the chapters 3 and 4 activities yesterday. Hopefully you've already gone in and looked at your grades for those activities and read the grading comments. If you haven't done that, go ahead and do that as soon as you can. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. If I did have to count points off on the assignment questions, I tried to be very specific on why I was counting points off and what answer I was looking for. But if you, after reading the grading comments, if you still have questions, just let me know and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. Overall, most of you did well on the chapters 3 and 4 activities. There were a couple of things that I noticed some of you had problems with. Not everybody, but a few of you had problems. For example, explaining the relationship between demand and quantity demanded. So what I've done is I've created a review video right here under week 5 that shows basically the answer that I was looking for on the assignment. So if you have questions about demand and quantity demanded, even those of you that got that question correct on the assignment would probably find it beneficial to watch that review video, because I go into detail as to exactly what I was looking for in an answer to the various parts of that question. Okay. Also, I've included a review here. I actually probably need to move these up to week 4 instead of putting them in week 5. I'll do that here in just a minute. But the chapters 3 and 4 assignment problems that some of you had problems with, I've created a video, review video, where I go into detail and explain how you would calculate the various or solve the various problems that were on the assignment. Some of you didn't have any problems at all with it, with the problem. Some of you did, and so that's why I created those videos, the review videos there. So there's one for chapters 3 and 4, the problems that you had to work through, to calculate, and then there's one here that explains what I was looking for with demand and quantity demanded, that particular question on the assignment. So, like I said, even those of you that did perfectly well on the assignment and didn't miss anything, you probably still find it beneficial to watch these 2 videos here. Okay, so just kind of be doing that in the next day or 2. Just watch those videos. They're not very long at all, but it would help you to kind of get a better understanding of those basic concepts that we learned about in chapters 3 and 4, and just to kind of review and kind of refresh your memory on that a little bit. All right, then what we've got coming up due for our next set of activities is the chapters 5 and 6 activities. So we've got the assignment, test, and discussion all due by Tuesday of next week, basically a week from today. So you've got right at a week to be working on the chapters 5 and 6 activities. And chapter 5, by the way, deals with something very, very important in macroeconomics, which is GDP, or gross domestic product. That's the way that we kind of measure overall economic activity on a macro level, okay, or an aggregate level for the entire economy. And so in chapter 5, in addition to learning about gross domestic product, you're also going to learn some other introductory macroeconomic concepts like economic growth and fluctuations, economic indicators, aggregate demand and supply. And also towards the end of chapter 5, you'll learn a little bit about the history of the U.S. economy. And then in Chapter 6, it's going to kind of take what you've learned in Chapter 5 and expand on specifically the ways that we measure economic activity or track economic activity. And of course, one way that you'll have already learned about in Chapter 5 is GDP, but there are different ways that you can calculate GDP. There's the expenditure approach and the income approach. So you'll learn about those two ways that we can measure GDP. And then you'll also learn about something that we've actually already talked about, but we're going to go into more detail on it, something called the circular flow model. You'll remember that's something we learned about in chapters 1 and 2 earlier this semester, but in this chapter we're going to look at it through the lens of measuring economic activity. And then at the very end of chapter 6, you'll be introduced to price indexes. And one of the main ways that we kind of measure changes in price in an economy is something called the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. And that's something that we'll actually learn about in Chapter 7. So that'll be part of the next set of activities. But for Chapters 5 and 6, like I said, those are, again, going to basically introduce you to the basic macroeconomic concepts. And so be working on those. Again, they're due basically a week from today, which is Tuesday, September 16th. And just let me know if you have any questions at all while you're working on those. Remember all the resources that you have. You've got your textbook. You've got your PowerPoint slides that I posted on the assignment page. You've also got the videos that I've linked on the assignment page. So make sure you're using all those resources, and just let me know if you have any questions at all. So that's really all I have for you for today. So enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend, and I will talk to you again sometime probably later next week. Thank you.